Hi, I'm Nicoleta, and I'm a business analyst within the enterprise data team in Ubisoft. And today we are going to talk about data in all its shapes and colors. So at first I wanted to do a very short presentation about Ubisoft, but I'm pretty sure from what I understood before that everyone knows that Ubisoft is producing games and it's on the market for over 30 years. And we can follow the data that exists in Ubisoft and in the gaming industry from the sources to the data warehouse and to the reporting system, trying to emphasize the differences between a BI system and a data-oriented application. How we'll do this? We'll have three parts. The first one is related to the data shapes and structures, following to the insights of what's a data warehouse and what are those characteristics specific to a BI system. And at the end, we'll go through the reporting layer. Data shapes. Today, our smallest choices, from what movie to watch in the evening, what game to play, or more complex actions like pattern recognitions, are driven by data. But where is this data coming from? Who is generating all this data? Well, there are three main entities who are generating data today. The one who is producing the most volume of data are machines. And when I'm saying machines, I'm referring to mobile phones, sensors, or even in-game tracking. The second one, it's people. All of us, by posting a photo on Facebook, by tweeting, or by streaming our gaming experience, we are generating a lot of unstructured data that is related to marketing, consumer, and user information. The third one, it's regarding organizations. There are a lot of organizations who are producing data to help us understand better our business. Some examples can be point of sales. So when we are going to the cashier and buying something with a card or so, we have ERP systems to produce, to enhance logistics and to help us drive the business. All of this data is usually structured because it comes in a predefined shape and structure. So we have these different source generators, and if we are taking the example within Ubisoft, we are connecting to this type of data through APIs or doing web scraping, or even with a direct connection to the source system. We are generating different types of files, XML, flat files, or JSON. We are connecting to SQL, Oracle databases, or even Hadoop. And we are furthermore integrating the data into the data warehouse through an ETL tool. Well, in terms of example of tools, we are trying to use Informatica or Python or integration services from Microsoft, but on the market you can find a lot of other vendors and technologies. So I was giving the example of Ubisoft. And here we'll go through how it is structured, our BI system today. We have the three main sources, the organization ones related mostly to sales and supply chain, the people-related information that is referring mostly to marketing data, and the in-game tracking related to user activity. All of these sources are integrated into a Hadoop cluster, the data lake, where you can find the data in its raw version and without any transformation or specific calculations done, from which it is retrieved and brought into the enterprise data warehouse on Teradata. And in this zone, we have a lot of business logic and some small transformations applied to the data. So at the end, the users can consume the data through reporting systems. Well, in terms of reporting systems, we are using either MicroStrategy for enterprise reporting, or even Tableau or R for data scientists, or those specific analyses of the data analysts. So we saw the sources. Now let's get inside the data warehouse. From my point of view, the main characteristic of a data warehouse should be simplicity. Why? Because the information in a data warehouse should be straightforward, should be easy to understand, and with the same knowledge and understanding for all the people in the company. And how its simplicity reached? Through common dimensions and relevant metrics. Both those two elements together are bringing added value to the business. When I'm talking about common dimensions, I'm referring to those referentials and attributes that are describing through a common language the information in the company. Well, common language, it's reached through governance, and storing all of this into a master data management, it's providing a single point of truth for the dimensions within all the tools in the companies, no matter if we're talking about a BI system, a ERP system, or any other tools or applications that, we can have in a company. The most important and insightful advantage that is brought by common dimensions, it's the fact that it's providing cross-analysis between different domains and different data silos. Before, and in the traditional BI, you would have salespeople looking at sales data, supply chain people looking at logistic information, and probably someone from marketing would have something over there in their own side. Well, today people are trying to analyze information all together to see how one marketing action is influencing sales, or it's influencing the new game that is going to be produced, and how the users are perceiving all of this. If I would give an example of a common dimension, I would think about the market. The definition that we have for the market, it represents the location where a game is sold. The location, in our case, is defined by the country, which is the lowest level of granularity. For the country, we have these attributes like description, code, currency, the fact that it's part of the European Union or not, that are defined totally by external standards like the ISO one. But we also have an internal definition and an internal grouping of the countries into regions, into sub-territories, territories, and distribution zones that are specific to the entertainment and gaming industry. What this will mean is that if I will take the example of Portugal from external standard, Portugal is part of Europe as a region, but from the Ubisoft point of view, it's part of Iberia, others, and the EMEA zone. So we are trying to group it according to our specificity and importance of the business. Another example can be the time dimension. I will not stay very long on this part. It's just to bring the information that the time we are usually taking it only from external standards, because we don't really have a way to look at the time differently than any other business. But we do have the specificity of looking through two different versions. The US one, where the week starts on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday, and the Gregorian one that we actually using also in Europe, where it starts on a Monday. The week starts on a Monday and ends on a Sunday. I was saying that the second element of a simple and understanding data warehouse are the metrics. How a simple number from the source system is becoming a relevant metric. Well, we are trying to follow a process. We start from the strategic view of the company, which in our case, Ubisoft's mission is to create a great gaming experience. This strategic view is transformed into a business IT objective that will be to bring data from all countries, to have a worldwide view, and to have information from all domains, which furthermore becomes a KPI. Well, if our mission is to have for the users to have a great gaming experience, it means that they will spend a lot of time playing it. If they will spend a lot of time playing it, it means that a good KPI will be usage. Another KPI on the same logic will be sales. If someone played a game within a brand, let's take Assassin's Creed, they played Unity, they liked it, probably they will also buy the next one. So the number of game sales will be a good indicator to see if our brands are performing well and that we are creating this memorable experience. Also, on the analysis part of the data, we are trying to look, when trying to analyze the data, we are first looking in the past to try to understand the why behavior, to try to understand why a certain user played and where they spend most of the time, how much they spend to have a certain achievement, or how a specific subsidiary performed. We are reporting the actual results and also trying through data science to identify what can be done better, what we can innovate, and how can we reforecast our actions. Colors of our data. One of the first things that I learned is that you need to know your public. You are building a BI system, you are building reports, you are building a data warehouse, but you should know for whom you are building them. Well, we have two types of users. The analysts with a very high technical autonomy, which are mostly data science or business analysts who are working to bring that new information to the company, to try to bring that model of innovation and pattern of recognition, and the classical user who are mostly going to use the corporate reporting tool to create either their own reports or to use the standard ones that are created and that are generated with the help of the analysts. So if we are going to go through some examples of reports, we have here an example of sales allocation per market. I would like to say that the data that we are seeing is fake one, so we are mostly focusing on the reports and what they represent, not necessarily on the numbers. So, for example, here we have the map of Europe with every country colored with the different threshold. The green ones are representing the countries with the biggest number of sales, going to orange and red for the ones on which the sales went not that well. And when clicking on a country, it's providing more details in the lower part in the grid about that country, what customers sold there, how they performed, in which month of the year, to provide all these elements to try to investigate a little bit more what went well or what went wrong. Another example is a report regarding game analysis. So we are building games. We want to see how they are performing, how a specific brand is evolving. If I'm taking the example of Assassin's Creed, in this report we will have a short recap of all the games within the Assassin's Creed brand to see what were the sales for all of them. And then we'll have a comparison between the last Assassin's Creed Syndicate and the one before, Unity, with a top by country to understand, okay, why why Unity went better or worse on a specific country and what went wrong, and maybe go even furthermore in more details if there is something interesting to notice there. Another example is to understand how our digital partners are functioning. So the digital business is growing a lot and is bringing more and more information. For this, we have this kind of reports where you can see Apple, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and all the other digital companies, which are for a specific game. They have this evolution by month on a fiscal year, or their share across the year. The key takeaway would be the fact that today we have more and more sources. We are in an era where volumes and shapes are changing a lot, and we have to be prepared to transform and to integrate all of this data, no matter the technology that we are using or no matter the shape in which they are generated, to bring it into the BI system, which will be a data warehouse, data lake, and so on, where we can easily scale according to the new volumetrics that are appearing, and bringing that business value, that information that is that is transforming the data to have a more to have a broader view of the knowledge, and to empower the users to have access to the data, to have this, to spend some time to research and to understand what is happening in that data through data science, data analysis, but also through standard reports. Thank you. If you have any questions, we still have 3 minutes. Yes?
Thank you. You've mentioned that there are some KPIs, okay, and this is what you use to measure the success of a game, for example. I was wondering, how can you integrate in a data warehouse, the structure you mentioned, things like Facebook comments, because I feel like they are also they reflect also the opinion on that game, and maybe they can offer more insights.
Of course. What we are trying to do is, together with the business analysts, to find that information. If I will take your example, for a specific game, to see how many comments there were, but also have a dedicated part where they can do analysis on the text. They can try to find patterns, which are the good words, which are the ones that would say, oh, this game was great, or it didn't went so well. Also through different ratings. If I would take the example of Metacritic, which is ranking the games, where you have also scores but comments as well. We are trying to find aggregated measures that would bring one value, let's say, that will be like a KPI, but to understand what behind that KPI, you would need to go to a deeper analysis, to which there are dedicated teams either per game, either per department who are working on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
How do you quantify the value of the information coming from the people? For example, there could be one person telling something very important and very true about your software on Facebook, and another 100 just bragging about. And their messages will not have such an impact, or will not be so truthful.
Well, in this case, I would say that first you need to do. What we are trying to do is to identify those sources who are, let's say, speaking the truth first, and we have what we are calling validated sources of information. So we know that what will come from a specific page or a specific system, it's information that it's going to be most of the time truth. And we are going to take that one and to make it available for everyone in the company, but we are also integrated what we are considered to be sources which are not mature enough to be shared with everyone in the company, for which in the data lake zone there are analysts who are looking at it and trying to understand where and if it should be integrated and shared with everyone in the company. So it will always be a human decision to share it or to not, and to understand if it's okay or not.
Well, that's time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.